everyone for joining us this evening. And again, thanks for pivoting and becoming virtual. We appreciate it a bunch to have you all here. Today, we're going to talk about public archaeology and some of the projects that we're doing to continue the work of public archaeology. So tonight, we're going to talk a little bit about, again, public archaeology. Justin and I will introduce ourselves just a little bit more. We're going to talk about some example projects, and then we'll end with some questions. So I'm Jasmine Saxon. As Amy let you know, I grew up in Tennessee, and I came out to Denver to go to grad school at DU. I originally got interested in archaeology when I was about 12 years old. I applied for this ambassadorship program, and I was able to go overseas to England, Ireland, and Wales. And while I was there, I think it was maybe like 10 days or so, I got to see all these amazing castles and these ruins, and I got to stay with host families. So I really was able to immerse myself in this awesome culture. And I just loved it. I thought it was so cool to learn about history and have tangible things. At the time, I didn't know that's literally what archaeology is, but I was determined to make a career, like a living off of whatever this amazingness was. And so I began to learn about archaeology at a young age. And so at 12 years old, I was determined to be an archaeologist. So yay, I made it. But yeah, it's been a long career path. Like Amy said, I went to University of Denver, got my master's degree in anthropology with a concentration in archaeology. I graduated in 2018. I worked for Metcalf Archaeological Consultants for a few seasons, and eventually got to the point to where I was able to stop working for other companies and just go full time with our company, which was a really awesome opportunity. So I'm still doing that. It'll be 2 years in October that we've made that transition. So it's pretty sweet. And I think, my favorite part of archaeology really is the storytelling. I am a huge storytelling fan. I love stories. I love fantasy. I love learning about people's pasts. I love, autobiographies and things like that. I think it's super interesting to learn about how people were living, and really, like, every story, a good story will pull you in, and you get to kind of be transported into that time and place. And I think archaeology is just such a cool tool to really experience heritage and culture, and how we as humans all share this kind of amazing experience around objects and what they mean to us. So Jess is going to introduce herself, and then she's going to share a couple of our projects that we're working on, and I'll jump in later. So Jess, here you go.
Okay, let's see. Haven't shared a screen in a very long time. So my name is Jess. As Amy had said, I'm born and raised in Colorado. I'm from Pueblo. I went to CSU to get my bachelor's in archaeology under Jason LaBelle, actually, and then continued on and up in the field working as a CRM archaeologist for the past 10-ish years. I also got interested in doing tours and such as well. So I've been traveling quite a bit and mixing all the passions together to eventually form Community Connections with Jasmine in 2019. So my favorite part of archaeology is as well, it's also the storytelling, but it's also like the we've said it before, of like reaching back into the past, and it's like someone drops something and then you pick something up, and it's almost like you have that connection to somebody from way back in the day. And I've also said what got me interested in archaeology for for a while has been The Mummy from 1999 with Brendan Fraser. Great movie if you haven't seen it, but it is one of the things that definitely piqued my interest in the past. So to get everybody on the same page, we just wanted to go over what public archaeology is today. What it used to be in the 70s, there was a big push for public archaeology, but it was more of like the public paid for projects, and that was more public archaeology. A lot of the data that we have in the next few pages is all from the Society of American Archaeologists. So this is kind of like a thing from them. So what we are saying that public archaeology is now is, depending on the project, Public archaeology is involving the public with any archaeological project, with a historical project, the STEM, like science, technology, engineering, all the other things. But there are plenty of interchangeable terms that we use today. So those are listed here. We've got outreach, of course, public archaeology, community empowerment, collaborative archaeology, applied heritage research, there's heritage tourism, there's all sorts of different things. So public archaeology, we're going to start off with that. This is an infograph. The three main takeaways for this infograph. So there's over 1,000 people that the SAAs polled earlier this year. So this is all updated data. And they're saying that Americans definitely think archaeology is important, which is really cool. They also are saying that archaeology does help the economy. It's right here. They say 40% of Americans think that archaeology helps the economy, and it's usually from a heritage tourism perspective. So Americans believe that sites and heritage areas should be protected, and artifacts. So that's really cool too. I'm sure they tried to make this poll as general as possible, but the fact that people actually thought that it was important and should be protected is very hopeful. So in an education standpoint, it's good in a way, but also kind of sad. 56% of Americans are familiar with archaeology. And right down here at the bottom, 47% think that we study dinosaurs. And that is, as we all know, is incorrect. But anyways, it's something that we now understand. A lot of people, 49%, see archaeology mostly through television, and that's how they learn about archaeology. So it's something to think about. Maybe we can get more into television and teach the public about what it really is all about. All right, so we're gonna go over 4 projects that we've been lucky to collaborate on with people. The first of which is the Astor House. So a little bit about the Astor House. This was one of our first projects that we were invited to partake in. It was a blast. If you have not heard of the Astor House, it's basically a hotel that was created by or built by Seth Lake, the bottom left picture in the center. He was a businessman, entrepreneur in Golden in the 1860s, and that is over to the left is one of his grand openings of the Astor House. I'm not really sure the date on this one, but he had plenty of grand openings, and the Astor House is named the Astor House because he wanted to bring luxury and high class basically to the Golden area and wanted his hotel to be seen as such. So he was very influential in the area, and was loved by the community. So he built this place, and so many people came, and they kept coming. So even after he passed, and when Ida Getz, the woman on the right, took over, it was a phenomenal takeover. She renovated the place. She kept it going. Her and her family did until the 1930s, early 1940s. She had the School of Mines football players come and practice in the backyard. And basically, this place is a gem within Golden, and the backyard is untouched. It had never previously been excavated or anything done to it. So when the Astor House in the 2015 was abandoned and there was nothing left to it and the city didn't know what to do with it, they eventually had Foothills Art Center come in and propose to renovate it and expand. So this was really, really cool and a great opportunity for archaeology to come in, because, like I said, the backyard was untouched. So Amy here and Michelle Coons, along with 12 or 10 other partners, came in. We were able to come in and help out. And there was a 3-week excavation that ended up happening in the backyard. Amy can give you more details on this, but about 20,000 artifacts were found. And just the stories from all of the artifacts abound. So we were able to take part in this in leading the tours that happened at the end of the excavations. So there was a social media campaign from us, Amy, and everybody else, Michelle Coons. Everybody had social media campaigns. People were on the news. So we ended up leading tours to just under 200 people for Arts Week, which was the event at the end of the excavations. And there was also a tour that we led for the CC's, Colorado Council of Professional Archaeologists. It was really, really fun to partake in. Here's some of the pictures from the tours, the inside of the Astor House on the left, and we've got the outside of what it looks like today. If you drive by it today, it is going through renovations, but it should be done, what I heard is middle October. So we'll see how it goes from there. But that was the connecting the stories together for archaeology. Red Rocks Park and Amphitheater, this is more of a hands-on archaeology project. So getting the public involved in actually surveying and getting dirty. So Red Rocks is a park that has been around for 300 billion years. This over to the left is what it used to look like once they started building the CCC camp off to the south. It took men about, oh gosh, I shouldn't be doing math in a presentation, but it was about 15 years to build what we see Red Rocks as today. So Jasmine and I, through a crazy series of events, were asked to come and survey, do an archaeological inventory of the park. So we are doing that little by little every year. And last year we had help from Amy and another guy, Gunnar. This year we asked CAS to come out. Thank you, Craig, for setting all that up. The several members of the Denver CAS chapter came out, and that's some of them over to the right. And it was a great day. We found a site and like 12 IFs around. It turns out that people have been partying at Red Rocks for a long time. There's a lot of glass and a lot of beer cans. Okay, so when I talk about public archaeology at Red Rocks, how do we pull in archaeology and the public at Red Rocks? So far, it's only been volunteer opportunities, but what we're planning on doing in the future is really, really cool. So we've got plans for this Factor Earth shot right here. Factor Earth is it's a virtual website thing that you can go onto, and if you scan here, you can easily hop on and check it out, but you can go and from sitting at your couch or wherever you're sitting, from your phone or your tablet or computer, you can go and you can explore places around Colorado. So we're going to beef up the Red Rocks experience on Factor Earth, add more stuff to it, and make it really, really accessible. Some other things that we're planning, and we're halfway through right now, is Western Aerial Imagery. It's a drone company we're working with. And we're taking a site that we found in 2022, last year, which is this up to the left, and we're going to turn it into DEM models. We're going to bring it into a digital format for kids, either through the Denver school systems or at rec centers, to be able to explore in the classroom. And we're also going to be bringing lock digs to them. We're going to have casts of, I'm clicking too far, sorry. We're gonna have casts of projectile points that were excavated nearby, and just have a really hands-on in the classroom experience for kids, so then they can come out in the spring and do surveys out here to find artifacts and be an archaeologist for a day. So we've got a dual thing coming, and we'll be bringing this in the spring and in the future. So that is all for these two projects. Jasmine will go ahead and take it over and go from there.
Thank you. So Donkey Kong project, another really fun project. Lots of community engagement on this one. So this was super fun for us. In the beginning of 2022, we were approached by Evolution Laboratories, which is they do a lot of STEAM, so science, technology, engineering, arts, mathematics. And the owner is just super passionate about serving underprivileged communities and getting kids into these industries from underprivileged communities. So they approached us with this really cool concept of building a kind of like a mini campus, if you will, for underprivileged community members to get resources, to learn more about STEAM, to really have a safe place for them to get the resources they need, and also the education that they may not be getting in other places around these types of industries. So to start off this project, they thought it would be a great idea to have an actual archaeological survey done and to use that information to create programming later for the community. So we, along with, I think it was about 16 other partners, both nonprofit and for-profit organizations, which is really cool because it kind of creates this handshake between the two sectors. And our role was kind of starting the project. So we partnered with one of the nonprofits. Be About Bliss is the nonprofit that we partnered with through this project. And they do a lot of work with kids here in the Metro Denver area, providing meals for them when they're not in school during holiday, like Christmas and things like that, because sometimes those children don't get what they need when they're not in school. And so they actually applied for the archaeological assessment grant through the SHF, State Historic Fund, to do this work. And so the grant was actually approved in I think it was like mid 2022 or so. And then in October, next slide, please. In October of 2022, we went out and did a survey of about 147 acres. So we also surveyed not the whole landscape, but specific areas that would be developed. So this mini campus is going to have these geodesic domes that sit on the landscape and create these kind of 360 virtual atmospheres for kids to learn in. And so part of the project was surveying these areas and then just surveying some areas that we thought that there may be cultural activity in. And so that ended up being about 147 acres. What was really cool is that we actually found quite a bit of historic artifacts. And there's actually a homestead that we have located kind of right at the beginning of the property, right off the highway. And an example of some of the fun things we found is actually this little medicine bottle that you see here. It's made from amethyst glass. So we found a ton of these things, and not just these medicine bottles, but a ton of just beautiful amethyst glass, highly decorated, just gorgeous, and tons of aqua glass, lots of ceramic pieces. And so all of these artifacts kind of date to the early 1900s. And doing some historic research, we also were able to locate a family that had a homestead patent here, the Buffington family, actually. And there's some really cool history that goes along with that we're not going to get into. But if you are interested, we have, I think, 3 or 4 blogs on this project, all hitting different facets of the project. So if you're interested in getting more of that history, please go check that out. It's pretty cool. Next slide, please. So once we did all the survey, we, of course, did all the paperwork, all the admin part, submitted our site forms, our report, all that good stuff to the state. And once that happened, we were able to take all of our information and create a really neat community engagement event. So we called this Digging into History, a hands-on archaeology event. It took place June 23rd of this year. And we just had a blast with this event. It was so awesome. We went down to the property. We set up 5 stations for kids to go through. So the first station was a historic literature station. So we wanted to explain to kids that archaeology is not just about digging, although that's super fun and super cool and we love to excavate, but really a lot of our work doesn't revolve around excavating. And so especially in the CRM industry. And so we created these stations to kind of walk kids through what it's like to be an archaeologist. So the first one is our historic literature station. We had primary documents, we had topo maps, we had all kinds of cool things for kids to look through and talk about. Our second station was the artifact station. So we actually had artifacts from the site that we used as examples so that the kids could see, what we're looking at and what's being found out here. We also had a survey like an archaeologist station. So actually in that third picture in the very back, you can see there's some there's some construction tape. And so we like fenced out a square area where the kids would all line up in these transects and take their pen flags and go out there and flag these like brightly colored plastic pieces that we had put out there. So it wasn't real artifacts, but it created this idea of what it's like to pen a site out. And then after they were done, they were all given graph paper and they were told, can you draw your site? What does it look like? The next station we had were our mock digs, of course, which is always a very popular activity. And you can see that there on the left-hand side, there's some kids digging. And then our fifth station was more of kind of like a mock lab setting where we had taken a ton of broken modern ceramics from the thrift store, broke them up. We sanded down all the edges and stuff so they were safe, but we would leave some pieces in, take some pieces out. So you kind of had this big puzzle and the kids just loved it. I mean, they would spend quite a long time like trying to piece things together, and it was kind of a surprise for Justin and I. We didn't know it was going to be so popular, but it's just really cool to be able to see the kids' minds work as they go through each of these stations and start connecting the dots and start asking questions. It's really neat to see, and we wanted to make sure it was accessible to a lot of people in the community. So if you're not familiar with Pueblo has a high Hispanic population. So you can see here that we have a flyer in English as well as a flyer Spanish. And it was awesome. We had the Boys and Girls Club come out. We had 3 clubhouses, which was super fantastic. We had volunteers from the Pueblo Archaeological and Historical Society come out to help us run all the stations, which was amazing. We had Steel City Cafe food truck come out. We had music. It was a really, really fun time. I think the most poignant of all was the director. When the kids were leaving, she came back and told us from the Boys and Girls Club that one of the kids on the bus was yelling that it was the best day of their life, like when they were leaving. And that's like what we want to hear. That's why we do these projects, is to get that connection, to build that excitement in these kids so that one day when they grow up, they can be like, you know what, I'm going to get into Manny's. I'm going to protect our culture. Heritage is a shared thing that we're all a part of. And so that was just, I mean, I still get goosebumps talking about it. That was just so sweet. So yeah, that was a fun project. Next slide. All right, so this is also a really creative project as well that we were so excited to collaborate with. The Lakewood Historical Society approached us about a year ago and told us that they had learned of this turf replacement bill. It's actually Bill HB 22-1151, if you want to go look it up. It's been passed and signed. I don't know when they're going to actually be implementing everything from it, but it's the governor signed it in, I think, last summer, 2022. But what this bill is it is a incentive for people to xeriscape, or to get rid of a lot of the water heavy plants. So talking about native gardens, like getting rid of grass, because here in Colorado, water is very precious. And so I think this is really cool to have this program in place. The Lakewood Historical Society, being forward thinking, started to think about people tearing up their gardens, doing new landscaping, things like that. And they've already had people in the past come to them with artifacts that they found in their own backyard. And so they were trying to come up with a program or a project or something that could capture these data that people were bringing to them, because it talks about local Lakewood community history that a lot of times, if you're familiar with archaeology in the industry, we don't necessarily get to go onto people's private backyards and like check their artifacts out. So we partnered with Lakewood Historical Society to come up with kind of a citizen archaeology program so that Lakewood residents would be able to have a place to report their backyard finds. Here on the left-hand side, that little metal horse, that was actually found in Lakewood from a community member. And so there's a lot of these things that are just randomly popping up, and people want to know what to do with them. They want to know if they're important. They want to know how to measure them, how to save them, what to do with them. And so we with Lakewood Historical Society, started this idea that we could create this guidebook. Next slide, please. So Lakewood Historical Society applied for a state historic fund grant through History Colorado for this project. And thankfully they were awarded it. And so that's when we jumped in and started helping them design a guidebook. So the guidebook is actually 25 pages. I know it sounds like a lot, but most of those pages are just all illustrations and examples of artifacts and how to identify things. What is really cool about this project is not only did Lakewood Historical Society think about water conservation, how that may impact archaeology and history, and how they can capitalize on those data, but they also were super open to including the butterfly pavilion. So there's actually a 2-page spread in the guidebook all about planting native plants and how you can help our local pollinators and, to be part of the change, if you will. So I think that's so cool too, because it just combines environment and archaeology and history all together. And it's just a really unique way of empowering citizens to really learn their local heritage and to take pride in that and to share it with the community. So you'll see these are some example pages on here. The cover page, Guardians of Historic Lakewood, is up there. And we've focused really heavily in this guidebook on protecting your artifacts, protecting our heritage. These things that you're finding are irreplaceable. And so it's really important that together, we protect this and preserve our heritage. So that's a big focus of this book too. So it's really an awesome guide. We're super excited to have this coming out soon in the next few months. This will be available. And what's neat about this is Lakewood Historical Society actually wants to duplicate this with other historical societies in the region. So they're totally open to sharing this information and helping other historical societies create this program. So we're just super excited to be a part of this and to help continue this public archaeology and really make it public archaeology. So next slide. And then finally, International Archaeology Day 2023, yay! Jess and I are thrilled about this event. We were invited last year to kind of take the reins over from some of the staff at Roxborough State Park who have been doing it for over a decade. They're ready for a break, so we totally understand. And they've been doing a fabulous job with putting this on each year and having just an amazing turnout of volunteers, community members, exhibitors, all kinds of good stuff. So this will be this year on Saturday, October 21st, and it'll be from 8:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. It will be at Red Rocks Park and Amphitheater in the lower south lot number 2. So we're taking a parking lot and totally converting it into this really cool, awesome, it's gonna be like farmers market meets festival meets archaeology. It's gonna be really, really fun. There's gonna be so many activities going on. We have 27 right now, probably a few more will trickle in before the end of this month, but we have 27 confirmed exhibitors. So they'll have tables, booths, activities, all from CRM organizations to historical societies, Denver Archaeological Society, Colorado Archaeological Society will be there as well. All kinds of different people are coming. We have the Northern Arapaho is coming, and they're going to be doing a live TV demonstration for us. They're also going to be doing earth watercolors. So if you're not familiar with that, it's an indigenous art form where they take natural materials from the environment and create pigments out of them. And so we're going to be having a demonstration on that. We also have 2 food trucks. We have a little beer garden that we're setting up with a historic beer, a braggot, that Brewery Riccoli is doing for us. We also have 3 professional presenters. They're going to be pretty great. John Hedlund from ERO is going to be speaking. We have Cami Sample. She's actually a descendant from the Amachi internment camp. I think her grandparents were in the camp. So she's going to be speaking as well. And then we're also speaking with Ernest House Jr., who was the former commissioner of the Colorado Indians Affairs Committee. I believe I got that right. And so he's from the Ute Mountain Ute. So he'll be speaking as well. And then we also have, I know there's more. We also have 5 on-site, or oh, sorry, 5 off-site tours and activities. So that looks like Buffalo Bill Museum and Grave. They are going to be hosting 2 behind-the-scenes tours for us for free. And then we're also doing a tour of the CCC camp at Red Rocks, which is actually not open to the public. It's used for offices. So this is a great opportunity to see that. Red Rocks is also hosting a kind of backcountry tour, is what they're calling it, with their rangers. They're going to be opening Seven Ladders Rock for the public, which is like super cool, you guys. Nobody's allowed back there. And so yeah, if you're interested in like getting that like old school history from Red Rocks, like this is where you need to go sign up for that tour. And then we also have Lamb Spring Archaeological Preserve doing a tour, as well as Roxborough State Park is having all-day activities at their location as well. So we are always looking for volunteers. We're looking for more exhibitors. The more the merrier. We want everyone to be involved. So if you're interested, please hit us up. We'd love to have you. If you have ideas of other people that might be interested, hit us up again. We'd love to have you. All of our volunteers will be getting free t-shirts with Elena Haverlick's artwork, as well as free lunch from the food trucks. So that will be a thank you. And we're really looking forward to it. So that is pretty much it. Just next slide. Thank you. Thank you so much, you guys, for having us tonight. We are just so excited about doing things a little bit different in archaeology and really, being community forward, community facing. And I think, Colorado Archaeological Society is really great about that too, and getting community members involved. And so thank you so much for having us. We're just thrilled to be able to share this with you guys. Just you're having like feedback.
Yeah, on my end, but
okay. Anyway, here's all of our contact info, and we'll open it up for questions if anyone has questions.
Stacy here. I have thank you for your talk. It's very good, and I think getting this approach to the public is really important. I think it would be great if this could be a statewide thing, an effort to promote archaeology to the public, and also get into the school system to educate from there, because they really love that kind of stuff. What I wanted to ask was, in terms of International Archaeology Day, I've started to put the word out in our publication, for the Denver chapter, and I wanted to find out who to contact, just directly contact you guys for anybody interested in volunteering.
yeah,
Okay.
if you we can send the information too, but if you have them sign up on our website, yes, Ziggy, yes, that will get them into the system. And we have the wonderful Angel Tobin, who is, oh, and yeah, Jasmine just put in the address and whatnot there. But Angel Tobin is their volunteer coordinator. So once they're in the system, then Angel will be contacting them. So yeah.
Okay. And what I'll do too is, if you like, is pass on that information to the Indian Peaks chapter, because their members are close by and may want to get involved. We can also see about passing the word along to other nearby chapters as well. So
That'd be great. Yeah. Larry's on the board, and he was talking about expanding, like having an Indian Peaks chapter event as well. So things are happening, but I mean, please pass the word to everybody. We would love to have as many people as possible. So yeah, that sounds wonderful.
okay, great. I'll get that information out.
Stacey, we're also, it'll actually be done this week. We're creating a flyer for, to give out. So we can email
Okay.
that to you as well. So you can send
Okay.
that with your information.
Right, perfect.
Thank you.
Anything to help support. I'll be working with Larry on doing the cast table and stuff like that. So, but it'll be very, I think, a good opportunity too for our members that normally don't engage. It's a good opportunity for them to dip their fingers into the community. So
We're hoping that there's so many families and people that come by the cast table that more people will sign up for the chapters near them, and we can get the ball rolling. So yeah,
well,
thank you.
I've got a number of people that we know that we can get that have kids and families that we can get the word out to. So, but thank you again for a good talk. And I think I had during summertime when I did up the July write up for things to do while we're not doing any cast talk. I included that factor, the Earth Factor website, the tour stuff. So
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
so it's good that you're harnessing it. Anyhow, I'll let other people ask questions.
I have a question about the community archaeologist thing that you're doing with Lakewood. And here I am. When do you think you're going to have that ready and for us to be able to see?
So we're actually meeting with them this week. So hopefully in the next month or two, we'll have this out. Our plan, we've been talking with Lakewood Historical Society, and our plan is to have it out beginning of the year so that people that are starting to plan for spring and stuff will have access to it. So we can keep you posted once it's actually available. But yeah, probably within just the next couple of months, it'll be out.
Okay, because I'm on the Wheat Ridge Historical Society, and I'd like to kind of get them involved in that.
Absolutely. That would be fantastic. Okay. Yeah, Deb, I'll make sure that we reach out to you when it's available and connect you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, we really had a great time, and thanks again for inviting Kaz to come out and do the Red Rock survey. Do you have any plans for next summer to be back out there?
Yes,
Yeah.
we do. Don't have a date yet, but we
Okay.
do have plans to go.
Great. Well, keep us on the schedule. I think I got really good feedback from all the folks that participated, and yeah, it was good. Everybody had a fun time.
Oh, good. We had a great time too. It was fantastic. And we covered so much land. Thank you guys.
Yeah, we really did. That was, I mean, there were plenty of sites out there too. I mean, most of it was, just bottles and glass and whatnot, but whatever, we're finding sites to get a good idea how to record them and do that kind of thing in the field.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. Thank you so much for participating. We had such a great time with you all.
I think someone might have gotten a job after that.
Really?
I don't know. I Olivia, I believe. I don't know if she did or not. But you never know.
Cool. Yeah.
Anybody's watching.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Questions from anybody else?
Just really quick. Sorry, I was going to jump in. I wanted to know if there are any other future projects that you guys have coming up that are anything that you can share quite yet. I know sometimes you can't quite share, so.
Yeah, there's a really fun project, but it's in proposal stage, so I don't think we can share. But as soon as we can, we'll tell you about it. But it's along the lines of a historic district and doing some really cool recording and community-driven events, and maybe even an on-site exhibit for community members to highlight the heritage of this historic district. So we're really looking forward to that, but it's still in proposal stage, so we're not quite sure where it's going. But yeah, it's I was trying to think, we have Red Rocks coming up next year, of course, so that's always exciting. Just, can you think of anything else right off the top of your head? I know there's stuff.
We do tours, but basically everywhere that we've planned a tour, Denver decided to redo it. So there's a lot of construction where we do tours. So look out for those in the springtime when it gets warm again. I think construction will be going down, and we plan to be doing some more stuff like that too in the future. So yeah.
Oh, we're hosting archaeology meetups again, starting
yeah.
on
Hold
the,
on.
yeah. So September 28th, we'll be starting those. And actually this year, our first one that we're launching, we're partnering with History Colorado. So definitely come on out. We're going to be at Raíces Brewing. And our social media has that information on it. It'll be on our website as well. So if you want to come out and talk archaeology, talk to people who work in archaeology, talk to students, talk to people who just love archaeology, this is the place for you. So yeah. But yeah, winters it gets a little bit slow, as you guys know. It starts to pick up in the spring, so we'll have a bunch more stuff coming.
Cool. Thank you for sharing.